you could be sure that our friends in Senator Grassley's office and Senator Johnson's office and Jim Jordan's office and Congressman Comer's office are going to look at this press release next week, say, wow, 1.9 million records. We haven't gotten half. I think they've gotten maybe 40,000 records at most. And I don't even know those records came from that secret room. You're not going to believe what we just found. So you may have heard about the secret rooms and the burn bags and such that Dan Bongino, who was then FBI Deputy Director, and Kash Patel have disclosed. These were files that supposedly were hidden from the leadership and designed to be hidden from the leadership by the deep state, the Biden and Obama FBI, the anti-Trumpers, the Jack Smith people, and all of that. And Dan disclosed last year material about or information about what they found. We actually linked to this in the lawsuit. We wanted the information about what Dan is about to say here on Fox News, or said on Fox News back in looks like May of last year.
Stuff that's coming out.
Does he still have loyalists in the building? Because when I hear the FBI director saying, you guys are finding boxes that are hidden, okay, how does that happen in the Bureau?
Well, we were there a couple of weeks, and luckily there were a lot of people up there who grabbed us by the arm the minute we came in and said, thank you for being here. You know, we need to talk. There are people there who are really horrified at what happened. And there was a room, and we found stuff, a lot of stuff.
A hidden room.
I wouldn't call it hidden, but hidden from us at least, and not mentioned to us. And then we found stuff in there, and a lot of it's from the Comey era, and we are working our damnedest right now to declassify. And just so you know, because I get the public, I totally understand people saying, well, do it now. The process is not all the information is ours to declassify. Some is other intelligence agencies. It's not, we literally can't do it. Once that gets done and that gets out there, and you read some of the stuff we found that, by the way, was not processed through the normal procedure, digitizing it, putting in FBI records. We found it in bags, hiding under Jim Comey's FBI. Quickly, you're going to be stunned.
The shells.
So, Judicial Watch thought, oh, isn't that interesting? So our team filed a Freedom of Information Act request, literally just asking for the records Dan Bongino referred to there. Asking for the records Kash Patel was referencing, the boxes and things. And the FBI stalled, but they finally confirmed to Judicial Watch, yes, there are files there, and not only there are files, but there are a lot of files. Upwards of 1.9 million records have been found in that secret room that Dan Bongino disclosed. Records about Jack Smith and other anti-Trump investigations, and who knows what else. Here it is in black and white. Let's go to the. This may date me. Let's go to the videotape. Even though I'm not going to the videotape, I'm going to the internet here. So here you see our press release. Lawsuit uncovers FBI found up to 1.9 million Jack Smith and other records in hidden room. And I'll read you this section. You probably can't see it, so I'll just read it to you. So they explain the documents were found in a SCIF, so at least they were kept in a secret facility, meaning a facility or room that has protections in terms of securing classified information. But as Dan Bongino disclosed, it was in a room designed to be hidden from the new incoming leadership. You have to remember, over in the FBI, they have maybe 5 or 6. I literally don't know how many, but it's a scary small number of people that are hired as, quote, politicals. You've got the FBI director who's appointed by the president. Dan Bongino, I don't think he was even technically a political appointment. I think he was a civil servant who was hired. So there are few typical political appointments. It's all just deep staters. Or, to be fair to some who are trying to do their work, just civil service employees or FBI agents, etc. So they found their records, and they told Judicial Watch in the court. So this is a court filing. It was in I think it was in a joint status report filed in our lawsuit for these records. So this is the government talking in this part of the joint status report. For item 1, plaintiffs seek all documents referenced by Deputy Director Dan Bongino concerning a room located in FBI headquarters. So you just saw the video. The room references a sensitive, compartmented information facility, which is the shorthand for that is SCIF, the acronym, that houses records related to both closed and open investigations. The FBI continues to assess the contents of the room and the total volume of records in the room. The FBI continues to determine what records, if any, are responsive to the request. Until all documents have been digitized and reviewed, the defendant, the FBI Justice Department, cannot identify the anticipated number of documents responsive to the request or the anticipated dates for release of the requested documents. The FBI can provide the following update about the status of the process. Specifically, the FBI has assessed that the room presently contains the following records that require digitization, meaning I guess they get either moved over to an unsecure system digitally, or if they're printed records, they have to be scanned before they can be scoped for responsiveness and processed for production. Several 5-drawer filing cabinets, safes, that the FBI estimates to include approximately between 950,000, there you have, between 950,000 and 1.9 million pages, which may fluctuate depending on whether there is material on both the front and back of the pages. So I guess there are actual, I just noticed that they're actual pages, they're hard copies. So they literally kept the paper files in that secret area away from, as Dan alleged, leadership for, I think, nefarious purposes. So they're going to need at least 10 to 12 months to even process the records, meaning digitize them and review them for potential release. So what are the records about? The records appear to include the following. You can see on the screen here, legacy files. These records consist of older legacy records, the majority of which refer to 2 closed historical investigations. These records belong to the DOJ's Office of Inspector General, and prior to release must be sent to the DOJ OIG for consultation on its equities in the records. I mean, this is like absurdity piled upon absurdity. The DOJ, so these are DOJ files, and the DOJ is going to send DOJ files to another DOJ agency. It's like the DOJ is going to send files to itself so we can be told when we get the records. I mean, it's outrageous enough when they use, oh, these could be CIA records, or these could be Department of Transportation records. We're going to send them over there and wait forever and a day before we release them because we have no control over them. I mean, it's a way basically to ditch records effectively because you can't, the time frame is incredibly long. But I get distracted. Other files, these records consist of more recent records related to various investigations, including, for example, active investigations and prior special counsel investigative records, many of which are likely to require consultation with other government agencies prior to release. So these are Jack Smith records. They're probably Mueller records. They're probably Hillary records. They're probably Russiagate records. They're probably Durham records. Given the quantity of records, it's multiple cases, legacy cases. I don't know what that means, how far back it goes. I don't know. Let's go back to Kennedy. I mean, I say that half jokingly, but I have no way of knowing that. And they may not either because they haven't looked at them all. So when I see numbers like 1.9 million records that have been hidden, I think, what do I think of? I think of the Epstein records, right? There were 3.5 million records that were released. I mean, this is comparable. And dare I say it, I think they're probably more important than the Epstein records, given the lawfare against Trump that could have destroyed our republic if indeed these records cover it. This is an astonishing piece of information from the Justice Department and the FBI. It would not have come out but for Judicial Watch's heavy lifting in federal court. You know, you see these news stories and there's little to no follow-up. The follow-up from Congress is easily thwarted and ignored. It's a political back and forth. I'm not saying Congress is wrong to ask the questions, but it's relatively it's relatively hapless in its ability to get the records, or at least all of them. And the value of the FOIA cases that Judicial Watch brings, we can't necessarily get all the records either. But there's a process for getting the records in a more timely way and understanding what's being withheld and the ability to fight and challenge them in a way that's much more direct than Congress. And in the best of circumstances, you have Congress asking for records, you have Judicial Watch asking for records, and then you see, what did Congress get, what did Judicial Watch get, what did Congress get that Judicial Watch didn't, and what did Judicial Watch get that the Congress didn't? And that's often what happens. And often what happens is Judicial Watch gets all sorts of records that Congress doesn't get. And it's infuriating. And just so you know, over time, in recent years, Congress has noticed this. They say Judicial Watch gets these records and Congress isn't. We're done with it. Let's push harder. So our work has encouraged Congress to do more. It's not enough, but to do more in terms of getting access to records. So you can be sure that our friends in Senator Grassley's office and Senator Johnson's office and Jim Jordan's office and Congressman Comer's office are going to look at this press release next week, say, wow, 1.9 million records, we haven't gotten half. I think they've gotten maybe 40,000 records at most, and I don't even know those records came from that secret room. So again, the headline is, the FBI admitted there was a secret room hidden from FBI leadership appointed by President of the United States that contains essentially secret records, 1.9 million pages potentially, on issues that are quite sensitive related to special counsel investigations and Office of Inspector General investigations. And who knows what else. I mean, this is like why it's crazy to work at Judicial Watch, because we're prepping for a Supreme Court hearing of historic proportions, and concurrently we get this disclosure from the FBI and Justice Department in a joint status report, which is usually, they're pretty, I shouldn't say boring, but they rarely have significant disclosures. This court filing that says they've been hiding 1.9 million records from the American people. It's just crazy town sometimes here at Judicial Watch because of all the work that we're doing, and it just comes in, boom, 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 of disclosure after disclosure, evidence of corruption after evidence of corruption, as we continue our cases to save our elections, to preserve transparency and protect our constitutional republic. This is an astonishing and troubling revelation, I note in our press release. The FBI and Justice Department must go all out to release the nearly 2 million secret FBI and DOJ files on the lawfare against Trump and whatever else the Obama and Biden gangs don't want the American people to know about. And I have no doubt, as I said, that these records are far more important than the Epstein files. Now, you know, as Congress passed the law requiring the release of the Epstein files, so the FBI and Justice Department had to go to town, right? And they had hundreds of people looking through millions of records. I think they should take it to the same approach here, and it shouldn't take a law. In fact, there already is a law. It's called FOIA, and they should take it seriously, given the nature of the records that are likely here, and review them as quickly as humanly possible. I mean, when did we file this lawsuit? Well, I'm sure we asked for the records last year, so we asked for the records in the summer of last year. We filed the lawsuit. I think it was in November. And now it's March, and we still don't have any records. And they want us to wait another year. Do you think that's acceptable? If you don't, you know who you should call? Call Pam Bondi. Call Kash Patel. Remember what I said about petitioning your government? Ask them to, hey, give these records to the Judicial Watch and the American people. These could be the keys to these scandals. Heck, they're not prosecuting anyone. The least they can do is release records on the corruption. This is just great work by Judicial Watch. And, you know, I was looking at the release, and at the end of the release, sometimes we put, let's say we do a press release on topic X, you know, we put the material in the press release, and at the end we say, by the way, on topic X and related issues, this is also what we're doing. And so when you look at that in our release, you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at least 8 major cases and disclosures that Judicial Watch has filed and been part of. The release of FISA warrants, the illegal lying FISA warrants, we exposed them. We got them public. First time ever FISA warrant applications have been made public, thanks to Judicial Watch litigation. We've been suing for Hunter Biden records, shady FBI records, all the lawfare records, and we've been exposing so much of what we know about the abuses targeting Trump and American citizens. And I suspect we've hit the mother lode here with the 1.9 million records potentially. Could be a little less, or it could be a little more, depending on what goes on, that were in this secret room. Really incredible development. And I do give credit to the Justice Department and FBI for being forthcoming in this regard. I mean, it wouldn't be out of the realm possibility that they could come up with reasons not even to tell us the number. I mean, they have all sorts of reasons for not telling you information. They have all sorts of excuses. Oh, we can't tell you the number. We can't tell you what it's about. So I don't want to, I want them to do more, but I do applaud the transparency in this disclosure, however troubling it is, because it could have gone the other way. We may have been kept in the dark by a prior administration, even under a Republican president. I mean, during the first Trump administration, it was a disaster in terms of transparency. The DOJ was, in some ways, worse than Obama in terms of transparency. So, very, very interesting development, to put it mildly. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our video down below.